How you doing, everybody? This is Jonathan, your fitness business management expert, and in this video we're going to go over the psychology behind your clients eating and how you as a trainer can help them overcome their roadblocks so that they can see the benefits from your great workouts quicker. Now, let's not kid ourselves. As trainers, we know that the nutritional aspect of somebody's lifestyle plays a huge part in what the scale says. So your goal is to not just inform, but help the client to actually continue, on a regular basis, a healthy lifestyle. So I was on Facebook, as I often am, and I was just looking at the posts, and I have a lot of trainer friends. Friend me on Facebook if you have not yet. And one trainer very eloquently gave some advice on how to get a six-pack. And it was something to the effect of make sure you get protein early in the morning. For lunch, have like a big salad or a lean sandwich with a side of fruit. As a snack, you can have something of a yogurt or a protein shake. And for dinner, you want to have your lean protein, chicken, fish, turkey, whatever the case may be, with a lot of green vegetables. And on the side as your carb, you can have rice, brown over white, of course, sweet potatoes, or quinoa. And you drink a ton of water, stay away from the candy and the sugar, and you'll have no problem dropping weight. And that's perfectly fine. And without favoring one diet more than the other, I think we could all agree that that would be the generally accepted American healthy diet. And so, I looked at it and I said, all right, well, I have on my webpage for my boot campers a sample diet, and I still have people that struggle with nutrition. So how do you help them get to their goal? And the key is understanding their frame. And so what I think happened is that when this trainer that I saw on Facebook put together this really good meal plan, sample meal plan, they looked at it from the scope of their reality. For them, eating that way is perfectly normal. But that's not the case for your clients. I believe that it operates in a circle. Let me explain. So I'm making this video, I'm doing the talking before I do the graphics, but essentially there is a large circle where if you have everything in the circle, you're more than likely having an unhealthy diet. And for you to be healthy, you need to stay a little bit more toward the center. So the tighter your circle is, the easier it is for you to lose weight because you're eating more healthily. There's a wide range of things that you can consume, and I won't call them all food because for food to be food, it has to have some kind of nutritional value, and not all things that we consume have nutritional value. And these are some of the things that your clients eat a lot of. Now, on your typical client with absolutely no boundaries diet, they'll consume a lot of the foods that are on the outside. Okay? So they're going to be having a lot of alcohol, they're going to be having fast food, they're going to be having packaged food, candy, long stretches of time without eating, cookies, cakes, creams, crackers, chips, chocolates, candies, as I like to call them, my seafoods, and they really don't have many boundaries. And so these are foods that we as trainers, for the most part, I would say, don't even really consider as options for our daily eating. But for our typical clients, this is how they eat every day. So everything comes out of a box, or everything has no expiration date, or it's loaded with sugar, loaded with fat, or can be made in, or served in 10 seconds or less, describing particularly fast foods. So what you have to understand is, if you want your clients to lose weight, they're not going to jump from the outside of their circle to the middle automatically. In the middle, that's where you're going to have your green leafy vegetables, your fresh fruit, your water, For those of you that, for the generally accepted healthy American diet, your low-fat dairy, and your pre-bleached or unbleached grains, those are going to lie in the middle of the circle. There are much fewer restrictions, and the aforementioned foods are way on the outside. Now, your clients are starting off on the outside. So for you to say to them, all right, what I want you to do is I want you to jump from eating this way that you're used to directly into eating, this way, the smaller circle, it's going to be too much of a shock for them. It's almost as if, you went to sleep and all of a sudden you woke up and it was 2045 AD or 2145 AD, and you were just expected to assimilate into the society. It's really just not that easy. And one of the reasons is because your clients, when they eat these kinds of foods, have a desensitized palate, I like to call it. So I had fast food like a week ago. I actually went to Burger King. Yes, I went to Burger King. Okay, whatever. I had a cheeseburger and I had onion rings, and I can't tell you how salty it tasted to me because I'm just so used to eating foods that are not that loaded with salt, and it got to a point where I couldn't even finish it. And I just felt nasty. I felt weighed down. In the holiday season, with these cookies and cakes and things like that, they're made with a lot of sugar, and I couldn't stand to eat as much. Some of my family members who don't eat a diet as strict as mine would be. So for the clients that are just walking in, to them that's normal. Have you ever described your diet to a client and then they just say, where's the flavor? Now to you, your food has tons of flavor because your palate hasn't been desensitized. All right, you still have a sensitive palate. But for your clients that are used to eating these high sugar, high salt foods, they need a lot of that salt and they need a lot of that sugar, or else the food doesn't even taste good to them. So it's going to be very hard for you to get your clients to the middle of the circle with boundaries just in one step. You're actually going to have to take multiple steps, and there is room to move and still see results. So you're essentially going to have to put your clients on a step program. There are obvious things that you need to eliminate from your diet if you're looking to be healthier. Obviously, the high sugar cookies, cakes, creams, lots of alcohol, lots of soda, and lots of fast foods. So when you're going from fast food and packaged food to fresh food and food from the earth, there's a lot in the middle that's kind of almost there. So instead of trying to get your clients to go straight from their McDonald's to preparing their own foods, while it may not be particularly a viable option for us, if they're going to, let's say, a Chipotle or a Subway, that's a step up from McDonald's. All right, it's not ideal, but it's better. All right, so they're not packing in as many calories for the same volume of food if done correctly. Yes, you can completely, mess things up at Chipotle, but there are, I think, better options and a little bit less temptation if you're going to go to a Subway or a Chipotle as opposed to a McDonald's or a Burger King. Going from, let's say, Oreos to Fig Newtons, while Fig Newtons are not something that are that's a part of my diet or something that I would recommend to one of my best clients, one of my most disciplined clients, it is still a step in the right direction for somebody who's just used to having Oreos, that much sugar, and a lot of them. So am I saying that you have to baby your clients? Essentially, yes, because it's not easy for people to make that jump. You have to take yourself out of the mindset of who you are, and you have to understand their lifestyles and their struggling with they're used to. Perhaps from Fig Newtons, you can move down to graham crackers with with the cinnamon on it, and then perhaps from there, graham crackers, just plain, and then their palate is getting more sensitized as they go along until they get to a point where fresh fruit is a perfectly viable option as something to have as a snack, whereas they were used to only having cookies. Like, they needed to have cookies and they couldn't have their fruit because the fruit didn't have enough sugar for them. They needed more sugar. But if you give them a step program, then they can eventually get closer to the middle. So another aspect of this is understanding that you're going to have to learn to congratulate what would seem to you to be mediocrity. It's a hard step to change your eating habits, especially when you've done it for years. It's as if, imagine anybody that's doing the paleo out there, or that's just got a really tight meal plan, and that all of a sudden had to do, can't remember the name of that documentary or the guy, Super Size Me. If you all of a sudden just had to eat McDonald's, it would be very, very hard for you to go in the opposite direction. You would crave and you would want your foods that you're used to. So you have to understand it's going to be the same for your clients going in the healthy direction. So you're going to have to congratulate your client. If they're used to having, 5 cans of soda a day and they got down to 3 cans of soda, that's a step for them. So do you look at everybody differently? Yes. You don't weigh this client against how another client operates. For the other client, maybe drinking water is no problem. But for this client, like going down from 5 sodas to 2 sodas, or from 3 glasses of wine a night to just a glass, like a real glass, just 6 ounces of wine a night, is a real big thing for them. So you're going to have to congratulate them, or else you're going to frustrate them. And then, they're going to say, well, if I can't please the trainer, then why should I even bother? You have to understand that gradual improvement, the same way that you gradually add weight onto an exercise, if you're, let's just take the bench press, you're not going to start a client that can only do the bar and then the next day say, all right, 315, let's do this, because that's what strong people do, and that's how you're going to get strong. No, you have to you have to incrementally increase the weight. So you have to incrementally increase the difficulty of the exercise. So you have to understand that for your clients to eat in the center, which is like doing 315 on the bench, they have to incrementally increase the discipline that they apply to their nutritional habits. For some people, it may be hard for you to believe, but you're going to have to take my word on this. Drinking water as opposed to soda is like torture. All right, so if you can get them to go from 2 sodas to a water and a soda, you should be very happy. All right, you have to understand that it's also going to be your job to communicate to your client that this isn't the end. Eventually I'm going to get you here. It may not sound appetizing right now, but as the scale moves, listen, if you want it to continue to move, you're going to have to continue to, increase the intensity of your workouts and increase the intensity of your eating habits as well, or else the scale is going to stay right there. And if you're happy, perfectly fine. But if you're not happy, it's time to take another step forward. It's time to wean you off and take off the diapers that you're wearing. So in between, let's say McDonald's and your homemade foods, there are a lot of steps. There is Chipotle. There is, places like It's Greek to Me. I'm not sure if it's around, I know I have some international folks that, that are in, all across the world, so you may not have an It's Greek to Me, or, the point is there are other restaurants or other quicker foods that aren't necessarily fast foods that you can guide your clients toward. So your goal is to figure out what your client likes to eat, figure out the end goal, and then draw out a map for the in-betweens. Because if you tell your client that's used to drinking beer or 3 cans of beer every day, tomorrow, all right, no more beer, It's not going to work. It's going to work for the type of client that is just like really jazzed up in the start and really doesn't have a long-term goal. That really just, you know, they like, we're right now it's December 31st, so everybody's all geared up to have the whole New Year's resolution thing going. So they will be able to have no beer for a good maybe month. All right, but eventually the emotional aspect of it, of doing something new, will wear off, and it's going to be your job to make sure that they're, you know, moving in the right direction. So rather than have them go cold turkey and then just jump right back on the wagon, make concessions. All right, I'll make a deal with you. How about you just go for, you know, McDonald's twice this week as opposed to 4 times? For some people, that is a huge, huge step. And for those of us that tend to have cheat meals, it's just a more frequent cheat meal. You know, essentially, you're going to teach them to extend their cheat meals further and further apart. And when they do have cheat meals, to opt for higher value cheat meals. Like, if I'm going to cheat on something, like if I'm going to cheat with something sweet, you know, I'm not going to have Oreos, or I'm not going to have, you know, like I don't know, whatever they make. You know, they don't make Twinkies anymore, but I'm not going to have a Twinkie. If I really, really want to cheat, you know, I'm going to have something really good. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant. I'm going to have a really nice dessert. I'm going to enjoy every second of it, and then that'll be it. You know, with these clients that you have, they're just so used to cheating all the time. So you're going to have to put breaks in between their cheats, and eventually they'll start to understand. They'll start to see, and as you start to explain the difference between the outer circle, the secondary circle, and as you get to the middle circle, where you would eventually want them to eat, ideally, however you define that, I think their outer circle foods would be less appealing. So wait a minute, you're trying to tell me that if I have, you know, 3 donuts, essentially, you know, I have to do 4 workouts just to burn it off? Yes. Is it worth it? No. So don't get frustrated with your clients that are taking a while to lose the weight, because you know, their tongue and their brain are just not there yet. You're going to have to guide them through the same way that you're guiding them to go from a modified push-up to a military push-up on the toes. You're going to have to guide them from, you know, the drive-through to their homes, you know, without the microwave. So it's going to take some time, but understand that you're going to need to encourage your clients. You're going to need to give them a step program, and you're going to need to be filled with tons of options to get them from where they are to where they need to be. All right, they don't have to make the leap all in one step. Give them baby steps, and it will be a lot easier for them to get to their goal, and they'll appreciate you for it. So I hope you found this video helpful. I'm sorry I've been away for a while. I've actually been sick. I'm coming off a cold. You might be able to hear it in my voice. But remember to like this video, comment on this video. If you find this content of particular value, add this to your favorites, as I will routinely change the name of the title of the video because I feel that it's better suited with a different title for search engine optimization. So if you want to always have access to this content, add this to your favorites. If you're on the Facebook, share this video. If you're on Twitter, retweet this tweet with this video, because there are a lot of other trainers that would not be able to find this information if it wasn't for your help. So if you find this to be of any particular value, you're getting it for free. So instead of paying it back, pay it forward. And last but not least, subscribe to this channel. There's going to be a wealth of information on this channel dedicated toward helping people to become trainers in the fitness industry, helping personal trainers become successful personal trainers, helping successful personal trainers become boot camp owners, and helping boot camp owners to become really successful boot camp owners. So there's going to be a wealth of information. And if you subscribe to this channel, I promise that I will do my best to hold your attention. So, remember, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to call me, text me, or email me. Remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe, stress levels low, get rest, don't slap anybody. I will see you all tomorrow or the next day, and you have a good one.